2 minutes after 6:30. So that'll be a record. And I would like to welcome everybody and acknowledge that we have a full house. That's a first as well. So. We try to find opportunities to celebrate the achievements and the participation and the willingness and the positive attitudes of our young people. And that's what we're doing this evening. So the students in the Academy for Scholastic and Personal Success 27th session have demonstrated Dr. White's mantra number 1, which is, attitude is everything. So to have a positive attitude when you encounter any challenge, it makes that challenge surmountable. So part of what we try to do is have parents involved in their students' success. And that's why I am so elated that you are here to support these young people. We like to begin our celebrations with acknowledgement of our past by singing the African American Black National Anthem, Lift Every Voice and Sing, by James Weldon Johnson and his brother Rosamond Johnson. You have the lyrics, if you need them, on the back of your program. So if we can stand, please. Oh my goodness, who are we going to have start this? Sharice isn't here. Full of the faith that the dark past has taught us, sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us, facing the rising sun of a new day begun. Let us march on till victory is won. What you see is the result of, or what you will see is the result of 6 weeks of your students coming to Mount Mercy and taking lessons. But it's important to acknowledge that there is a lot of back work, behind the scenes work that happens before your students get here. And much of the success of this program depends on who we have teaching. We have a teacher of math and science, we have a teacher of literature and history, and we have a teacher of post-secondary seminar. And those people can't be just anybody. What we teach in the academy is that you can't know where you're going unless you know where you've been, and the importance of heritage and the importance of knowing your history. So the people who bring these lessons to your children have to be A, excellent in their academic area, and B, rooted in their history. So that's a combination that is regrettably rare, and we have had the really good fortune of having 3 people come back and teach for more than 1 year. Now I say that that's rare, and I say that we're lucky to have people come back, because when staff comes back for a second year, then they are demonstrating their belief in the program. People who have the level of excellence of our staff are sought after. They can go anywhere. They don't have to stay in Cedar Rapids or come back to Cedar Rapids and teach for 6 weeks in the summertime. So the fact that we have 3 staff who have been here for 4 and 2 years respectively is remarkable, and we're very lucky. So at this point, I'd like to have you hear from them. We'll first hear from Dr. Patrick O'Ray, who is the teacher of post-secondary seminar.
Good evening, everyone. It's always lovely to see, I'm always happy to see like the students with their families because I always like to see like where they come from. Right? And it's amazing to me because like for most people, if you would say like if somebody wanted to walk into this room right now, this would probably be like the most diversity that they would see on this campus, like at any one time. Like the whole rest of this place, like when we're not here, I imagine is very uniform. Yeah? Okay. So I think that in and of itself, we talked a lot about the importance of how important when the people who you're getting an education with look like you, and you're getting an education from people who look like you, right? Who know where you come from, who've been where you've been, right? You're not like the only one like in the room, and you feel that much secure about pursuing intellectual excellence. I'm saying intellectual on purpose because I'm not talking about the knowledge that you just get in school, right? Street smarts also counts for a lot. That's part of the maturation process. And in all, I like it because it shows us as those people who you entrust to prepare your young adults for a path beyond high school. It's nice to know, for at least from my end, what you prepared them with before we get them, right? Because it's a continuity that kind of counts, right? So my approach to the secondary seminar is part academic, but also part kind of street smarts, right? Knowing the game they're getting into. So the first part of it is making sure that all of my students are prepared with the critical reading, writing, and thinking skills that are kind of like the baseline for any intellectual endeavor. But it's kind of like the baseline, like kind of like the ABCs of the kind of academic work that people are going to ask them to do beyond high school. So that means getting themselves situated in the best place possible so they can pursue their education. So being able to write an essay in standard written English is going to say a lot about who these people are, how well they've been educated, how prepared they are to advance themselves beyond the high school level. Right? So reading, writing, thinking skills. On the other end, now that we've worked so hard to prepare them with skills that they're going to use beyond college, now comes the process of where your young adults are going to be making probably the most important decision about their lives, which is going to be about what they're going to do after high school. Right? And a lot of that has to do with them. And I know ultimately like this is a family decision, but I found that a lot of these students know where they kind of want to go, but they just don't really know the path to get there. So I'm teaching them about options. Right? What is realistic? You want to go to that school in Los Angeles. Do you know that school in Los Angeles costs about $40,000? Right? It's okay to dream, but sometimes at some point, dreams are going to have to become reality. Right? So it's a blend between the two. Know what you want. Know how to choose what institution you want to go, and how close can that institution get to what you want, right? That's basically what I'm preparing them for. So ACT prep for the writing test. Also the process of choosing college. We talked about how much economics, location, and culture will be 3 of the many areas that we're going to shape their decision about where they go to school next. Accessibility, scholarships. And also just how to prepare themselves, especially in particular for those students that we have who are going to be first generation college students, to understand the process and what's involved. Financial aid forms, personal statements, how to make an impression in a very competitive academic market so that they stick out above the rest. Right? That's basically what I've been doing. I'm hoping it takes effect. I know it has taken effect. And that's basically what I'm here for. This is my 4th year in the program. And I'm teaching in Baltimore now, where the disparity is so much worse. Right? That it's always nice to know that I can come back and work on the same thing, so I have a model to look at when I go back there to teach. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Ore. Our math science teacher is Mrs. Ranthony Edmonds.
Good evening. Okay, so as Dr. White noted, I am the math science teacher. My name is Ranthony Edmonds. And my goal for this summer was to expose your children. You guys, I wanted to expose you to some fundamental tools that you can take with you during the school year. And so for those who felt as if they already had those tools, there's nothing wrong with sharpening them. And for those who did not have them, it's great to get them. So I am presently a graduate student at the University of Iowa, and I teach freshmen. And I have seen how uncomfortable freshman year can be when you're entering into college, still struggling to grasp those fundamental concepts that you guys are going over right now in your high schools. It can be very frustrating working with students at that level because it's like, oh, they should have known this already. What do we do? And so coming here, I would say that after this summer, I feel extremely hopeful. Proficiency in the math and sciences is maybe 1 part natural ability and 3 parts hard work. And so this summer, I've seen you guys work hard. You guys have asked questions. You've turned in your work. You've participated. And these are all things that I really, really want you to continue to do during the school year, no matter the setting, no matter the teacher. These are the traits that will keep you guys successful in these courses. I will say that I feel as if we're living in a difficult time. There are people who don't believe that people that look like us can be proficient in the math and sciences. There are people who will doubt your ability to think critically. And so I want to implore you to keep a positive attitude about these subjects. So for me personally, like if you call me on a Friday night, what am I going to be doing? Math, because it's what I love to do. And I understand that not everybody is that way. But my hope is that for you all, if you're interested in a STEM field, that you will go into the school year where you'll work hard and you'll get those skills that you need to keep going in college. And if you're not interested, do what you need to do so you can check those credits off your list and move on with your life. You know, and not let that be a hindrance to whatever you want to do in the future. So I just want to encourage you to continue working through challenging problems, thinking critically, and believing yourselves. Because I just, sometimes when you teach, it can leave you drained because you feel as if, oh, am I making a difference? Are the students understanding? But I feel as if leaving this program this summer, I feel energized. I feel excited. I feel hopeful about the future of our youth. So for the parents, you guys are doing an amazing job to send these students to me the way that they have come. So I want to applaud you for that. Can you just like... But yes, so in short, I feel as if the math and sciences can be divisive. They are subjects that are becoming more and more important with the way that our world is moving. And so I just want to encourage you all to keep working hard, keep trying, and thank you so much for allowing me to come back and be part of this program. I think a lot of times we come wanting to give back, and then we end up receiving something in return. And I received a lot these last 2 years, and so I just want to say thank you all, and I can't wait for Atlanta.
See what I mean? This is, and this is my, this is not my strong suit, math. I like science, but math was a struggle for me. And so to find a person who loves math, who is brown, and who is a female, so thank you, Mrs. Edmonds. And now we'll hear from Ms. Chanel Thomas, who is teacher of literature and history.
I really don't know why they do stuff like that. It trips me out every time. I feel far away from y'all over there, but I'm sending y'all love over this way. Y'all get my love here, y'all here. So as Dr. White mentioned, I'm Chanel. I just completed my second year in my master's program, which is school counseling. I mean, the true test is when I graduate. It's a 3-year program, so I have another year. But with that being said, I will claim this right now that there will be one day that I'm in one of the high schools and I'll be working with some of y'all kids. And so I'm excited about that because I just seen a connection here. Is that your little sister? And I did my, can you wave? Wave, Dory. I worked with Dory when I did my practicum at Roosevelt Middle School. And so to see that they had, I didn't know they had that connection, but it just felt good. It felt like home. So I said that to say that this entire summer I focused on, and they may not even know this, but we'll see. I focused on them building a community. And I did so because, well, tied to our history, how we've been forced to divide and not unite. And so as diverse as they are from all across Cedar Rapids, having whatever stories they have, they're here this summer. And so that was my focus. And I chose to do so, or I had the opportunity to do so through teaching history and literature, through a book that we read, Between the World and Me, by Ta-Nehisi Coates. And I suggest that everybody read it. It's a really good recommendation. Boop, boop. So with that being said, this I'm gonna make this quick. Okay, because I have a whole story to tell, which is ironic because anyway. My 2015 was not a very pleasant one, and through that I came out with a testimony. And I said that to say that it has definitely been my pleasure to work with y'all kids this summer. They have definitely given me life in a moment where I needed life. And I've never said that to them either, so this is the first time that they heard that. But they always would talk about who's my favorite, and I don't have favorites. Because I learn something from each one of y'all every day. So it's kind of hard to pick favorites that way. So I said all of that to say that growing up, knowing who you are was like something that was important in my family. And through that, I've learned in the 27 years of me living what it means to be who you are. And so it has always been my mission to work with young people, even when I was a young person. My mom would talk about how when I was like 6 or 7 years old, how I would always talk about how I couldn't wait to be one of the big girls in Girl Scouts so I can boss the little kids around. It's funny because a couple of them call me a bully, but it always comes from a place of love. And so everything that I do is from love. And I've been raised that way, and so I give love because I've received love. And so I am excited for this trip that we have going to Atlanta, where they can be surrounded by people who look like them and feel the power of that. So I'll wrap it up before I continue to ramble, but it has definitely been my honor, and I'm humbled to have worked and served with you all this summer.
So I think maybe you have some sense of how lucky your students are to be being taught by people of this caliber. They obviously like these people, these teachers, these staff, and that feeling is returned. That becomes more important because this is not the environment in which they attend school. So the strength that they come out of this program with hopefully will transcend back into their home schools. And I would really like to have Ms. Thomas in the Cedar Rapids Community School District as a counselor. Working on it. And so we don't want all the time to be taken up with adults droning on. We have some young people who have some things to say as well. So first, we'd like to hear from Mr. Dedrick Roundtree.
Hello. Don't know why I'm nervous. I can always make a fool of myself in public. I don't ever mind that. Alright, so I'm gonna talk about one thing I did this summer. So one day I was hanging out with my friends and we went to North Liberty, and I just happened to be on a cliff, and it was during like sunset, and I took a picture. It was like, oh, the sunset and not the lake. It looked like something you get off Google or something, like something a professional would get, but I got it on a simple camera phone, so that was cool. Got some other pictures as well. Maybe y'all know y'all previous because I got him jumping off the cliff. His teeth slapping. It was funny. And then so on the way back, we stopped by a gas station, and everyone got free drinks except for except for the person driving, because like y'all priest was walking on the door and said, I'm thirsty. Can I get something to drink? And like we all went. I like, oh wait, can I get one too? And he said, yeah, you can get any size you want as long as it's soda. I was like, my boy. And yeah, I think that was like my favorite out of town trip so far, except for this upcoming Atlanta trip. We can't wait for that. And alright, so another thing I did this summer was mainly just hang out with some friends. Met all these great people here. Yeah, I call y'all great. Including the staff. Y'all taught me a few things. I forgot a few things. But I definitely enjoyed my time here. This is my first year at Academy. I was like, after I took the picture at North Liberty, I showed maybe some of the students and some of the staff, and Miss Thomas caught it, and she said, I think you have a gift to like just observe things and get things down. So here you go. Here's the camera, and like take pictures of the academy, things outside of the academy, and of the trip that's coming up. So I took a few pictures, and
We're working on it.
all right. So I'm gonna stall until like she gets on.
Continue on. It's gonna play in the background.
Oh, okay. So I'm gonna keep talking. And keep shaking. All right.
No, you can be done.
Oh, I'm done? All right. Thank y'all.
It's still downloading.
Oh, so we should go ahead?
Yes.
All right. So the idea was to have the photos that Mr. Roundtree, which is what we call him in the academy, took, and that would lead into the commentary from the other two students. It looks like we're going to have to flip that. So now we will hear from Ms. Bentley Davenport.
Good evening, everyone. I am a sophomore at George Washington High School. This is my first year at the academy. And I am more than like happy I did this. I met all these great people. And sorry if I get emotional, it's just that I've never been around people who look like me and who have taught me and have friends like you guys. And I'm so happy that I met all of you. And I'm so thankful I have teachers who got to teach me all these wonderful things, and I've come so far from where I am now, and I really appreciate it. So thank you guys so much for being there for me. Okay. So I just have a little story I want to tell you guys about who I am and how I've come along through my, 15 years of being on this earth. So we often make too many assumptions about someone, turning that someone into something. We hear the social class and the way they speak. We see the socioeconomic status and their skin color. We see their intelligence and their hair type. We see their favorite foods and their eye color. We see their motherland and the shoe brands they wear. This can lead us to false assumptions, but more importantly, not acknowledging and understanding the complexity of each one of you. It is not so uncommon in our current time for a person such as myself to be the product of multiple cultures, race, colors, religions, and beliefs. I am white, I am Hispanic, I am black. Each of these ethnicities contribute to me to make me who I am. My mother is white, my father is black and Hispanic. I was raised by my white mother without the constant presence of my father. My father's family is my family of origin. My mother's family is my family of support. My body was split into two different people by two different cultures. When switching between my families, my mood, language, social standards, hairstyles, money, food, and people changed. It was almost like being in two different worlds with false identities. Being biracial can be hard when you have a name that screams, I'm white, and a face that screams, I love enchiladas, or where's the fried chicken? I have people every day assume one thing or another about me. I always have people assume that I am black with a white mother and a black father. Occasionally, someone will assume that I am Hispanic, and before hearing me talk, they think I only speak Spanish or I have a very thick accent. There are so many assumptions about what foods I love. I speak languages other than English, the color of my parents, the amount of siblings I have, and if I am rich or am I poor. All this because of my physical features. It gets exhausting day after day, week after week, year after year, trying to tell people who I am, going against assumptions and finding myself. Being told what you should be by other people can mentally murder a child, make them believe something or want to be something that is other than themselves. I remember for the longest time I wanted to be white. Because of my surroundings, I felt my skin color made me a lesser of a human being. I wanted to be like my white friends because I thought white was true beauty. No one assumed their favorite foods. No one assumed their parents came from. No one assumed the amount of siblings they had. And no one assumed what they were or who they were. Now I'm celebrated. The color of my skin, the color of my skin does not change the way I see myself as a person. The food I eat doesn't define where I'm from. The language I speak does not create boundaries. I am free. I identify myself with a name, not a color. I see myself as a human being, not a race. I am free. I cure ignorance with facts. I educate the ones who belittle me and pick about my well-being. Beauty doesn't have a color. It has a face, a mind, a body, and a name. That is true beauty, and I am beautiful, my brown skin and all. I'm confident in myself, and I wouldn't want to be anyone or any other color than who I am today. I am white, I'm Hispanic, I am black, I am proud and free and loved, and I have a meaning. Thank you.
Thank you, Bentley. I think that we can all acknowledge the pure emotion that went into that piece. I think that it's important for us to hear this kind of commentary because Bentley is one of many. And in the academy, I don't know where else besides the academy this kind of truth might have been elicited. I think it might have been very difficult otherwise in other places. I don't know, but that's just my sense. But I do know that in the academy over the years we have discussed, I was going to say wrangled with, but discussed the issue that Bentley so eloquently explained. We always have what I call regular black kids. We always have biracial students, and we always have African students. And it is in the academy that we understand that those are three different cultures, that they each bring something unique to the table, and that by coming together, we can learn more about ourselves and about each other, so that we are not divisive within our own culture. So, Bentley, there are no words. Thank you. How are we doing with the photos?
So what I was thinking, change plan time. I was thinking it'd be good for the reception part after.
So it's taking a while. Okay, we'll just move on. We'll just move on then. I do want you to see Mr. Roundtree's work, however, because I think that you will be impressed in a different way, but equally as impressed. But now we're going to hear from our youngest student, one from whom we have all heard words of wisdom from her 14-year-old self, sensibility, Miss Diamond Roundtree.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Diamond Roundtree. I'm a freshman at Washington High School. And one day out of academy sessions, I guess, Miss Thomas had asked me to share my story. And at first, I didn't know what she meant by that. So, like, I was asking questions and everything. And then I finally realized this is just a small part of my story. I have so many stories to share. But here's just a small part of it. There was never a time where I didn't think about crying because of the things that was happening around me. I've prayed and I've cried and I've prayed and I've cried because I was looking for love to surround me. I have love in my family, but outside I'm still asking. Questions remain in my head, but I was scared of asking. But never be afraid to ask, because asking is a form of learning, and learning is a form of knowing, and knowing is a form of teaching. So when you don't know, ask. Sometimes it's not enough, so you have to look for yourself. You can't always take what someone tells you and just go with that. You have to know for yourself. Know your laws, your rights, your system. Knowing is key. But no, you have to listen and learn. It was March 21st, 2012, in Chicago, Illinois. My auntie, Rakia, got shot in the head by an off-duty police officer, Dante Servin. She eventually died in the hospital. This was the event that changed my life. This event changed my life because it opened my eyes to so many things in this world. I've realized that the lack of respect to women, and especially Black women. This event has made me more passionate about Black women being respected and acknowledged. Sometimes I cry and I ask questions like, where is the love? Why is horrible things happening? Why are people afraid to help and say something, to ask questions? These questions run through my mind every day. I'm still waiting for the answers. I see the struggle in the Black community, and that's where the answer hides. The answer hides beneath scars and lies and tears, broken families, broken homes, Black on Black crime. I have to get my people together, but I can't do it alone. To come in agreement, you have to have agreement. We have to come together as one. There are so many stories out there that needs to be shared. My story has a title. I just need to finish writing the pages and chapters. Today, I want to give you something to think about. What is your story?
Thank you, Diamond. 14 years old. I think that one of the things that the Academy does, or that happens in really good sessions like the one we just finished, is that we get to see what is in these young people. And they get to feel as though what they are feeling is important and accepted and valued. And I hope that when we get back from Atlanta and you get ready to go to your home schools, that you will carry that confidence with you, because you have greatness in you. And you are one of many you all have greatness in you. And so I just hope that you can hang on to what you have learned this summer so that you can move forward on a positive trajectory. Now, you see lots of cheers and snaps. That's probably Afnan. She probably brought that to us. But, and hooting and hollering and standing ovations for one another. These, I will just say kids. These kids didn't know each other before June the 13th. So in 6 weeks, they have become bonded. They have become a family. As Ms. Thomas was suggesting, her purpose was to bring them together, and I think that she has succeeded. But as the person who started this whole business 27 years ago, I see a pattern, you know, summer after summer. So here's how it goes, just in a nutshell. When we start, everybody's quiet and reserved and fearful, and then as they experience their classes, as they get to know the teachers, as we do things like have seminars where they can speak their truth, then they kind of loosen up. So by the time we have our midterm conference with you, parents, we're able to see where your students are, what their strengths are, what they need to work on. Then after that little hump, after that midterm, that 3 weeks, then it's like somebody turns on a switch, because then they get to know each other, and then it gets rowdy, and then it gets loud, and then it gets giggly, and then it's like, and girl, and this and that, and then they're going to the movies after the academy session, and so you didn't think I knew that, did you? And then they're doing things, you know, and so it's really fun to watch. But that's what happens. And so when Bentley says, you know, I didn't know these people before, and I'm so happy I met them, that's part of the deal. That young people of color who go to 3 different high schools, and some out of town, and some in adjacent districts, would not know each other otherwise, would not ever see each other as potential friends, would think that kids from Africa are somehow different from them, would think that kids who are biracial are somehow different from them. And what we dispel all of that so that they can come together and learn from one another. And that kind of support is absolutely imperative in our community. They need that. So, in a 6-week academy session, it's not very long, but a lot happens. And we always see students who kind of bubble up to the top. Some students need to be pulled along. Some students need to be encouraged. Some students need to be kind of told to settle. But we like to acknowledge that. And so we're going to be giving some special awards that nobody knows about except the staff and me. And so I'm going to begin with a certificate of merit that the staff got together and determined students were deserving of. One in literature history and one in math science. Now, when I asked Mrs. Edmonds whether or not she had anything to say about the recipient of the Certificate of Merit for Outstanding Achievement in Math and Science, she said, and I see you're standing here, so you want to say it yourself? Go ahead.
Hi. Okay, so let's see. So something that I didn't mention when I was talking before is that when I was in high school as a freshman, I got accepted into this gifted program, Math Science Technology Center. It was like a magnet part of my high school. And I got a C in geometry, C in statistics, and I got kicked out. And my teachers were like, you're a very smart student, but maybe STEM isn't for you. And I felt as if because of the grades I got, maybe they were right. So it took me a while to come back around. So the reason I share that is because the person who got this award has mentioned on several occasions the grades that they've gotten in school. And I kind of feel as if I'm a walking testament that grades aren't always indicative of talent. And that's just across the board. Without further ado, I wanted to present the Certificate of Merit for Outstanding Achievement in Math and Science to someone who is very gifted, was a leader in her class, and who I was very happy to get to teach this summer. That was Miss Bentley Davenport.
Thank you.
So the next Certificate of Merit is for Outstanding Achievement in Literature and History. Ms. Thomas?
So this particular person, do y'all want to know who it is? Yes. So this person that I picked for several reasons, but one being how adamant she was about something that she believed in, and that was when we referred to people as blacks. So Mona, where are you? Come on. Now, if y'all knew Mona, so she came last year, and she was so soft-spoken, but I could tell that she had something to say. And so this year when she joined us, she was very outspoken, and one of which was how we referred to black people as blacks. And no matter where we were, no matter who said it, she was upset about it. And she let everybody know that she was upset about it. And so that is what I teach them, and she embodied that on her own without even knowing. Or maybe I just did that good of a job. So nonetheless, Mona, here you go.
So the next award, the next three awards are plaques. Presented because we saw something special happening with these students. And one of the awards, or one of the criteria is improved behavior, improved attitude, improved classwork, improvement overall. And so we all start, less than, and we all try to achieve something higher than where we started. But this person demonstrated what we call the classic 180. It is a pleasure to see the light of intelligence come into his face, and to know that this is a different kind of student than we saw last year, And so it is my pleasure to present the Academy for Scholastic and Personal Success Most Improved Student Award to Jonah Copeland. Did you see Jonah's eyes? Did you see his smile? We didn't see that last year. So we're happy. The next award is the Academy for Scholastic and Personal Success Outstanding Student Award, presented to a student who shone in every class, in every area, who was not reticent, who had opinions, who could articulate those opinions, and in whom we see great things for the future. So it is my pleasure to present the Academy for Scholastic and Personal Success Outstanding Student Award to Diamond Roundtree. And come and get the boxes that these go in so that you can carry them home and not scratch them up. And the final award is the I Am the Bridge Award. And if you paid attention in the scroll, you saw the lyrics to the I Am the Bridge poem, which is one of the requirements that we have for students. They have to learn that poem, and they have to hopefully internalize that poem. So we talk about the fact that the bridge is a metaphor between the past and the future, and the river is a metaphor for progress, and there are lots of ways to interpret what that bridge sense is. But in our setting, it's the person who takes on a leadership role and emerges then as a little bit head and shoulders above the fray. So it's my pleasure to present the Academy for Scholastic and Personal Success I Am the Bridge Award to Hannah Borsay. Now, everybody gets an award. Everybody gets some acknowledgement. Everybody is valued. We love you all. And so right now, we're going to enter into the gift-giving section of the program so that if you will arrange yourselves, young people, in alphabetical order. We practice this. Every student will receive a really kind of nifty new certificate of completion. And thanks to Ms. Cox for helping to design this new certificate. Every student will receive an Academy t-shirt. You saw lots of pictures with the t-shirts. And students who are seniors or who have been in the Academy for 3 years will receive a hoodie, much sought after. They will also receive a binder with information in it about college planning, ACT prep, reading lists, and some other things. A resume information, so something they can take away so they don't say, well, I forgot everything you told me. And then finally, they will receive a book. And I see Ms. Bernard here, so I'm really pleased. Carrie, would you hold up the book, please? Just one. That we're giving each student a book called How to Be Success Stories of the Young, Gifted, and Black by Cedar Rapids' own and the Academy's own Michael Todd Bernard, who is also Carol's son. So, without further ado, you get to shake my hand and hug me, and then you get to proceed to pick up your accolades. All right? So, first, what's your name? No. Alexi Bolden. Two. Hannah Borsay. Here's three. Paige Browning. Congratulations. Jonah Copeland. Salome Daniel. Bentley Davenport. Afnan El Sheikh. Anike Elias. What's your last name? I'm looking for it. Ah. Teresa Johnson. Noella Kabata. I meant to ask you, is it Mania? Oh, okay, that's what I thought. Chanel Maynard. Judith Minani. Muna Muhammad. Doan Mayika. Hawa Mwalimu. Yes. I'll tell you a little story about that later. Tendress Nkombi. Journey Rose Johnson. John Ross. Oh, well. Dedrick Browntree. Diamond Browntree. Tavia Stewart. Ebony Teague. Jalen Wright. Braden Wright. Let's have a round of applause for these wonderful young people. Coming on as part of the Academy family was divine intervention would be an understatement. I was talking with probably Charisse about the fact that we really needed an intern. We just could, I mean, boy, if we had an, and I called and I checked on, different colleges, and they all wanted to know if it was a paid internship, and I said, well, I don't know if we can help it, yeah. And so we were bemoaning the fact that we needed this skill set. Otherwise, I would have had to do all the stuff that she does, and it would not have been a pretty picture. So, literally, just as we were talking about this, the phone rang, and it was Tom Darden. Now, Tom Darden goes to Bethel, where I go, and we are, friends. And he and my husband talk football, but he never called me, ever. Never, ever called me one time. He called. He said, do you need an intern? I said, yes. He said, well, my daughter, she's getting ready to go to law school and this, that, and the other, and I want her to do something, and she could, and I said, well, let's have an interview. And so we did. And what we got was golden. So I would like to present this little token of our esteem to our unpaid, law school bound intern, Carrie Darden.
Okay, well, if you didn't notice, my name's not on the list to speak, so this will be brief. But like Dr. White said, I was the intern this summer, and I'm headed to law school, sending out applications in September. And I had opportunities to go work for a law firm. I would have been filing papers and sitting in an office somewhere and doing something really boring. And I was talking to my dad about how I wanted to be a part of something that was meaningful, a place that had a need. I didn't want to just work for a bunch of rich people who just needed their papers filed. I wanted to do something that would impact people. And look at this room. So I'm humbled and grateful to have had this opportunity. I am very excited to take a nap on the bus and then wake up and embark on a culturally enriching trip to Atlanta with all of these beautiful people. And I just wanted to say thank you to Dr. White for giving me the opportunity and for being a friendly face in the office every day, and to the staff for constantly making me laugh, and for these kids for giving me a piece of themselves and allowing me to give a piece of myself to you guys too. So thank you. I forgot. Thanks.
We'll close out this evening's festivities with a presentation of the poem that students are required to learn, called I Am the Bridge. We've used this poem for many years, and it's 7 stanzas? 9 stanzas? 9 stanzas. And so when they first see it, they say, 9 stanzas, I can't learn 9. And so, of course, they do. But as opposed to having them recite it to you, which is always a problem for me as an English teacher, because I don't want them to just say da 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 da. I need for them to show that they understand what this poem means, says, is about. And so one day, early on, I said, we were listening to Hamilton, the soundtrack to Hamilton, because I'm enamored of that play, and I didn't know if the kids had heard about it or anything like that. And so I said, why don't we do this? Why don't we set the I Am the Bridge poem to music? Let's put on a show. And so Hannah said, okay. And when I asked for a person to run point on this little project, she said she would. And this is the result. I really think that you will be impressed. So without further ado, do I need to move this back? Do you have enough room? And then let me get out of the way. I am the bridge.
I am the bridge.
Follow in the shadows of heroes without names, and keep the faith of elders schooling on giving canes. I hear the beat of Africa drumming deep within. There the scars of slavery beneath my bronze skin.
The bridge is men and women, famous and unknown, leaving thousand memories, timeless stepping stones.
I stand by the soldiers who claim the victory. and jump in jubilation, the slaves that long last free. I rest the sturdy shoulders of farmers green and dime, carry on the handiwork of simple folk on gone. I savor soulful flavors that simmer way down south, and take the heart of stories, pass down my word of mouth.
The bravest men and women, famous and unknown, leaving past some memories, timeless stepping stones.
I need the world to protest that leaders dare to speak. I march with many thousands, take my struggles to the street. The river to tomorrow is as long as it is wide. The bridge will get me over, see me to the other side. The past is the foundation, the future the next man. We'll bridge the mighty river, brothers, sisters, hand in hand.